also kindly request that we can have a complete attention to hear from Prabhuji for a complete 1 hour. And small children who are here, who cannot sit for 1 hour, they can actually come with we have Anukampa Mataji. Anukampa Mataji is there, so who will engage the children with Krishna conscious engagement, and children can go with them, and parents can focus from Prabhuji. So.
So, Kirtan in the beginning or will begin directly?
Yeah, either way, if you're this one being Kirtan, we have Mridapa.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for kindly introducing me. I am very grateful to be invited here to speak something on the topic of understanding Bhakti Ras. I am very grateful, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the kind invitation to the entire management of Shri Radha Giridhari Mandir. We'll begin with a small kirtan, then I'll start speaking. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Prabhupada ki jai. Sant Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Sai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for kindly being present here today. I'm very thankful that I've been given this opportunity to speak on the topic of understanding Bhakti Ras, and it is a very, very important subject matter, especially for those who are on this path of Bhakti Yoga. Before I begin speaking something, I'll perform quick Mangalacharan, and you can kindly repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So it's a very difficult world that we find ourselves in, because the moment we are born, we are not born in happiness. We take birth in this world with great distress. And the moment we die is also not a moment of great happiness. Death also comes at the cost of great distress. And therefore, in the world, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna described this world as not an abode of happiness, but as an abode of suffering. Bhagavan's statement in the Bhagavad Gita about this world is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. This is what Bhagavan has to say regarding this particular world. And even the happiness that is available in this world is of such a nature that it gradually turns into distress. That is the nature of all the happiness that is available in the world today. People think that when they are getting into any sort of enjoyments, that they will experience happiness, but ultimately this world has a very strange nature. It takes all sorts of happiness and turns them into distress. You can say that this world is basically a machine for converting all sorts of happiness into distress. That is how this world can be described in reality. And you can take any form of happiness that is available today. For example, let's say a person buys a shining, sparkling new car. And buying a shining, sparkling new car, should it be a source of happiness or a source of distress? Please tell me. Happiness. But as soon as the person buys the car, instead of the person owning the car starts owning the person. That is what happens. And I saw once, where I stay, just nearby, I saw on the highway, on this Western Express highway, and there was this factory of Mahindra, and somebody got a brand new car, and they were driving on the road, and just as they had taken it out on the highway, the car crashed. So they were in great distress. So as soon as there is opportunity for happiness, the seeds of future distress are already planted. That is what it is. Now this person was crying in front of the car which was crashed. And please tell me, is the car living entity or non-living entity? So the person is basically crying for a non-living entity. And yesterday I saw that because recently we've made immense progress in the field of artificial intelligence. So in the Western world, there are people who don't have real life relationships. There are people who are staying alone. Many people who are staying alone. So for people who are staying alone, they had made an application which can act as their spouse, as their husband or wife. So you can talk to that application and that application behaves like your husband or wife. And a few days ago, some of the code on that application went wrong and the application started giving very rude responses to the people who were talking to those applications. And it was reported that many people in the Western world who were using that application as their spouse, as their husband or wife, they went to the hospital and said that I am having depression, I want to commit suicide. So this was recent news, dear devotees. So the nature of this world is as follows. And the Gita, Bhagavan has specified this nature. ये ही संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुख योनय एवते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः. So Bhagavan's direct statement in the Gita is ये ही संस्पर्शजा भोगा. Whatever happiness that you are experiencing in the world today, dukkha yonaya. From that very happiness, distress will come about. That very source of happiness will become source of distress. Therefore, the intelligent person does not try to take pleasure in those particular sources of happiness. Because the material world has a very strange nature, as I said, it takes all happiness and converts it into what? Distress. That is the nature of the world. And I would like all of you, it's an open question. Tell me one happiness in the world which does not transform into distress. Material world. Any happiness of the material world that does not transform into distress. And think critically about it. And if you have an answer, you can raise your hand and yes, I have one happiness in the material world which does not transform into distress. Please tell me. Yes.
Parents love.
Parents love? Well, when children grow up, parents love changes to a great degree. And that child who appeared to be very sweet and very cute in childhood, when that same child grows up, sometimes the parents don't find the child to be equally sweet or cute. And sometimes the child becomes, especially in teenage years, the child becomes so rebellious that some children forget the love that the parents had given them in childhood. So for parents to see the child grow up and behave in such a way, is it a source of happiness or distress? Please tell me.
Extreme distress.
And so they tell their children, कि तुम बदल गया, you have changed. पर हम नहीं बदला, दुनिया बदल गई. Everything changed. Not only the child, but everything changed. All right. Anybody else would like to give an answer? Yes.
Only ISKCON can give happiness.
Well, I am speaking of happiness in the material world. Any happiness in the material world that does not transform into distress. Huh? Death. Death is happiness. Bhagavan doesn't agree that death is happiness. Bhagavan says in the Gita, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukha Dosha Anudarshanam. How many of us believe here that death is happiness? To go through the experience of death is happiness. Well, nobody wants to die. Maybe after death, somebody may be thinking that I'll become happy. There are some people who commit suicide. The reason why they commit suicide is because the pain of living becomes more than the pain of dying. And therefore they select the lesser pain That is the pain of giving up their life. And that is why certain people choose to end their lives. But otherwise, it is all distressful. Now, there should be something in the world which does not change into distress. Some source of happiness in the world which does not change into distress. And that source of happiness is something that we all should look into. We all should inquire about. And that source of happiness has been described previously by the great acharyas. We Indian people have a very big problem. There is a very big problem with Indian people. Do you want to know what is one of the biggest problem with Indian people? Indian people are very, very interested in learning what doesn't belong to their own culture. But Indian people are severely disinterested in learning what is available within their home. In Sanskrit, it is called Ati Parichay. Ati Parichayad Avagya Santatagamanaad Anadaro Bhavati Malaye Bhilla Purandri Chandana Tarukashtham Indhanam Kurute. There is a very famous quote. The Sanskrit quote gives the example of a lady who is born in Malay Parvat. Does anybody know what is found in Malay Parvat? Sandalwood. So she is born in Malay Parvat, only Chandan, only sandalwood is found. She has not seen any other tree in her life. So when she wants to cook some food, she uses which wood? Sandalwood. Similar is the condition of most Indian people. They are born in a place, in a country which has all solutions to all mental and spiritual problems. But sometimes they neglect those very solutions even though those solutions are available for free to them. Instead, when they undergo depression, they will pay thousands of rupees to a psychologist to get out of that depression. And the principles which are given in Vedic Shastra are actually principles which can help a person come out of the miserable nature of this particular world. There is one particular principle especially described in Vedic literature, one particular type of happiness which does not transform into unhappiness. And today I would like to specify that particular type of happiness and what is the technical name that has been given to that happiness in Shastra. The previous acharyas have given a specific name to that sort of happiness, and the name is Rasa. What is the name? Rasa. Now when we hear the term Rasa, Rasa was something which is being served here at the gate in glasses. You got something, devotees. What did you get? Rasa. Rasa basically refers to juice. That is the basic plain meaning of the term Rasa. And why is Rasa or juice served to people at the entrance? Can anybody tell me why was Rasa or juice served to people, all of you, at the entrance? What is the purpose of serving it? Bolo?
Make you feel relaxed.
Relaxed. Wonderful. So, you take an unhappy person, you give them rasa, and what you get is a which person? Happy person. That's it. That is the simple job of rasa. You take an unhappy person, you give them rasa, the person becomes happy. That's all. That is the basic purpose of rasa. Rasa, essentially, the basic meaning of rasa, most common meaning of rasa is juice, flavor, taste, or happiness. These are Sanskrit, the various meanings of the Sanskrit term rasa. And therefore, this principle of rasa is a very important principle in our day-to-day lives. According to Vedic Shastra, there are 6 types of rasa in food. And I will give the names of these 6 food-related rasas. Please repeat after me. Alright? Sweet, sour, tangy, bitter, pungent, astringent. These are 6 rasas of food. All the food that you eat can be divided into these 6 tastes. Either it is sweet, sour, tangy, bitter, pungent or astringent. These are the 6 rasas in Sanskrit. They are known as Madhur, Lavan, Katu, Kashai, Tikta, etc. So these are names of rasas in Sanskrit. All the food that you eat can be divided into one of these 6 rasas. Now please tell me, how many of you like juices which are sour? Please raise your hands. How many like sour juices? Not a single person likes sour juice? How many like tangy juices? Yeah, there's one person who likes tangy juices. How many like sweet juices? Oh, everybody raised their hand. How many like bitter? There's one for bitter, that one for wonderful. Alright. So you see, this is rasa even in the domain of food. Everybody's rasa is not the same. I hope you are able to understand. Everybody's rasa is not the same. Some people like sweet, some people like sour, some people like tangy, some people like pungent. So in this way, all these various rasas are there. And there is astringent. How many know what is astringent? No? Astringent is that particular flavor which leaves a powdery feeling within your mouth. For example, how many of you have had jamun? You know? So after you eat jamun, there is that flavor, that feeling that remains in your mouth. That flavor is called as what? Astringent. That astringent is, classic example of astringent is jamun. If you have had jamun fruit, after eating that jamun fruit, your mouth is left with that powdery feeling, and that is what is called astringent flavor. So there are 6 rasas when it comes to food, and we all have different choices in rasa. Everybody does not have the same choice in food rasa. Now, please tell me, when you eat food and you experience rasa, now as soon as you entered into this particular hall, you were given rasa, and when you consumed that rasa, did you feel happy? Yes? Did that happiness change into distress? Please tell me. No. It did not change into distress. It gave something to your heart which did not change into distress. So there is an essential happiness in this world which does not change into distress. And that happiness, dear devotees, is known as rasa. And rasa is basically found first and foremost in food. And I told you there are 6 varieties of rasas to be found in food: sweet, sour, tangy, astringent, pungent, bitter. So these are the 6 rasas to be found in food. But beyond that, there is another conception of rasa which is present in this world, and this is called as natya rasa. Alright, what is natya rasa? Natya is not dance, natya is drama. So in this world, there is one source of happiness which is so transcendental that it does not change into unhappiness, and that is experienced through the via medium of natya. Natya, as I said, what is the English translation of natya? Drama. And what does drama do? How many of us have seen a drama in our life? Please raise your hands. Have we all seen drama in our lives? And I am not saying movie, I am saying drama. Alright? But drama, if we have seen in our lives, What a drama does is allows you to experience a feeling, a happiness known as rasa. And I will give an example of this rasa. Basically, think of yourselves watching a drama on Ram Leela, the pastimes of Bhagwan Ram. And let's say in that pastime of Bhagwan Ram, there is a very difficult scene going on. For example, Maharaj Dashrath has left this world. Bharat comes to know that Bhagwan Ram has already left for the forest. Bharat goes to the forest along with all the mothers, and the mothers, they are dressed as widows, and many people from Ayodhya have joined Bharat, and they are there to convince Bhagwan Ram to come back to the kingdom. And as soon as Bhagwan Ram sees Bharat, he sees that Bharat is very distressed and all the mothers are dressed like widows. Bhagwan Ram suddenly becomes very distressed at heart and asks Bharat what is going on. At that time he comes to know that Maharaj Dashrath has left this world. As soon as Bhagwan Ram comes to know this, Bhagwan Ram collapses on the ground and starts crying. Dear devotees, at this point of time, you may see certain people in the audience crying. You may see some people in the audience crying. Why they are crying is because they are experiencing something within their heart. And that feeling which they are experiencing within their heart also has the same name. What feeling is that? Rasa. Now, please tell me, are they experiencing happiness or distress? Distress. But think carefully. Are they experiencing happiness or distress? On immediate observation, it appears that they are experiencing distress. When they come out of the theater and they are going back home, do you know what they say? It was such a nice drama, I would like to watch again. Isn't it? Would somebody like to voluntarily fall into distress again? The question arises. The drama was giving happiness or distress? Alright. For those of you who could not understand this, I will give another simpler example. We stay in Mumbai and Mumbai is responsible for spoiling entire India. Okay, there is one industry here in Mumbai which spoils entire India. Which industry? Film industry. Every year the film industry churns thousands and thousands of songs. These songs can be broadly categorized into two types. Songs of happiness and songs of distress. Sukh bhare geet, dukh bhare geet. Can you try to imagine which songs are appreciated more?
Dukh bhare.
Arey, why? In real life, please tell me, do we want to get dukh or sukh? Sukh. Everybody is on the same page. In real life, we all want sukh. But when it comes to songs, we want which song? Dukh. So something is wrong with us. Why do we select dukh instead of sukh when it comes to natya, when it comes to songs, gita? Why is our tendency in that direction? It's a very important question. Anybody would like to take a guess? Yes.
Because it is like we are connected with it. It happens in our life also.
Wow, very good answer for somebody who is very young. I hope you are not speaking out of personal experience. But You see, Natya allows us to experience something. And what does Natya allow us to experience? Natya allows us to empathize with somebody who is different from us. So we don't directly go through that situation, but we go through that situation by empathizing with somebody else. I hope you are able to understand. And because our personal connection is no longer there with that distress, and because it is an indirect experience of distress, because Bhagwan Ram is distressed. It is not we whose father is dead. It is Bhagwan Ram whose father has died. And because we are not experiencing it firsthand, therefore when we experience it through the via medium of another person, that same Natya, that Dukkha, transforms into what is called as Rasa. And this Rasa has the tendency of transforming Dukkha into Sukha. This is the nature of Rasa. I hope you are able to understand. Rasa has this opposite tendency of the material world. Material world has the tendency of transforming Sukha into Dukkha. Rasa has the tendency of transforming Dukkha into Sukha. So these are two completely opposite principles going side by side in this world. And therefore you see, when people work very hard throughout the day, in the evening when they come home and they sit in front of the television, and you know what do they want to get out of watching television? Can anybody tell me? News. Okay. And news is one thing, not everybody watches news. People, yes.
Daily drudgery of doing jobs.
And what do they want to get by watching television?
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Feeling of relaxation.
Alright.
Taking out stress.
Comedy.
Comedy. Wonderful. Comedy is called Hasyaras. What is comedy called as? Hasyaras. Sports is Veeras. Who is winning, who is losing. I hope you are able to understand. Sports is which ras? Veeras. Suddenly a team is losing and one player comes and turns the entire game around. And suddenly everybody is cheering for that person. Sports is which ras, dear devotees? Veeras. News is mixed ras. Sometimes there are sometimes hasya, sometimes dukkha, sorrow. So when a person in the evening is sitting in front of the TV, they don't know it, but they are hankering for one thing. What are they hankering for? Ras. That is what they are hankering for. And the same ras doesn't satisfy the same person if consumed every day. Therefore, they may watch comedy for a few days, but they can't watch it for their lifetime. After a few days, they have to change their taste. And this is also the principle in bhojan ras, food rasas. Many of you said, almost all of you said, we like sweet juices. So, alright, if I say, only sweet juices for you for 1 month continuously, no other juices. And only one single flavor of sweet juice. Will all of you agree? Why? All of you raise your hands, right? When sweet. So rasa is not simply enjoyment. Rasa is variegated enjoyment. Enjoyment that has deep variety within it. That is what is called as rasa. This principle of rasa is the only principle in this world which is non-material in nature. For example, I gave the example of the drama of Bhagwan Ram, where somebody is crying because Bhagwan Ram comes to know that Maharaj Dashrath has left this world. When that person is crying, the person sitting next to you may be crying. You may ask that person, hey, what happened? Why are you crying? Your father is sitting right next to you. Why are you crying? Because that person is experiencing something while watching the drama, and what is that person experiencing? Ras. And what Ras allows you to do is it allows you to have an experience of a feeling without personally going through the misery. And therefore I said many people like to listen to songs of distress. It allows you to experience that feeling without personally going through that misery. And that is what is Ras. So even Dukkha becomes Sukha when you are not personally involved in it. And therefore, and it is Ras which separates you from personal involvement in that Dukkha. And it is Rasa which separates you from personal involvement in the Sukha. Therefore, Rasa separates you from all material experiences, and therefore it is only Rasa in this world which is actually a substance which can give you happiness. When people fall into loving relationships in this world, when a boy is looking for a girl, when a girl is looking for a boy, in order to experience love, they are not exactly looking for a person. They are looking for an experience after meeting the person. I hope you are able to understand. It's not about meeting the person. It is about the experience that they will get after meeting that person. And that experience or that happiness has one name. What is the name, dear devotees? Bolo? Shringaras. Wonderful. Romance is the name. Shringaras. Rasrat, the king of all rasas in this material world. Similarly, the original principle of rasa is not from this material world. The original principle of rasa comes from the spiritual world, because all the rasas come originally from Bhagavan, and therefore the Upanishads say something. In the Taittiriya Upanishad it is said, please repeat after me, Raso vai saha rasam hi eva ayam labdhva anandi bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad says, Raso vai saha, that Bhagwan, he is Rasa. Who is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is Rasa. Rasam hi eva ayam labdhva, only when the living entity, the Jiva, attains Rasa, Anandi bhavati, does the Jiva become truly happy. The Jiva, or all of us, do not become truly happy when we attain happiness of this material world, because happiness of this material world automatically transforms into distress. But rasa is that transcendental principle which originally comes from Bhagavan Shri Krishna, and Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself is rasa. One of the names of Bhagavan Shri Krishna is Akhila Rasamrita Murti, that he is the joyous personification of all rasas. And therefore, anybody who can try to establish a relationship with Bhagavan Shri Krishna, such a person basically is signing up for an eternal experience of unending rasa. And finally, that is what the Jiva wants. The Jiva does not want temporary rasas in this particular life. And I will ask all of you a particular question. Please answer this question. We have had infinite previous lives, unlimited, so many previous lives we cannot remember. In some life we were an insect, in some life we were an animal, in some life we were a reptile, in some life a tree, in some life a mammal. Please tell me, what is the value of the happiness that we got in all of those previous lives today? What is the value of that happiness? Nothing. And what is the value of the happiness that we are getting in our current life? Can we see the stark difference? Yes, Prabhu.
Value is temporary, but it is there.
It is there, you see. No? It is the happiness of this life has value. And Prabhu, what about the happiness of so many previous lives?
We forgot it, so that's why.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Right. We lived so many lives in the past, and we are not able to remember any of them. And let's say, even if we were to remember them, will it cause greater happiness or greater distress? What will it cause? Greater distress. Of course. So, what Bhagavan said in the Gita about happiness ultimately being a source of distress is definitely true. Because we will remember all the previous attachments we had. Let's say you come to remember that in previous life you were a human born in such and such country. You had a spouse who loved you very much. You had so many children who loved you so much. Would you like to continue living your current life or go back to your previous attachments? What would you like to do? It's a very simple question.
It depends.
It depends, huh? If the wife in the previous life was more loving, I'd like to go back to her. So that is, it's a very important thing to ponder upon. This is neither our first life nor our last. We've had many births previously, and unless we stop this cycle of repeated birth and death, we will continue to take birth again and again. And many people are not even bothered about it. They feel, so what? It will continue to happen just like people, so many people are dying, so what? When suffering comes, at that point of time, some people wake up. They don't wake up when suffering is not present. When they are living a normal life, it's alright, so what is, when it comes, I will see. So these people will wake up only when there is a huge amount of suffering that comes on their head, which will make them think, is everything right, correct in this world, or am I supposed to look for something higher? Till that time, these people will not understand. They will never understand. Swalpa punya vatam rajan vishwaso naiva jayate. They will not believe. They will think, I am situated happily, so everything is good. I am good, so the world is good. That's all. That's all. That is how many people in the world think. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna calls such people as Lokayat. Lokayat means Loke Ayat, commonly accepted philosophy in the world. Ridam kritva ghritam pivet yavat jivet sukham jivet. If required, take a loan, but be happy in this life. As long as you are living, try to live as happily as possible. Basmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. Once the body is destroyed, who knows what is going to happen? This is common mentality of most people around the world. Therefore, it is called Lokayat. Loke Ayat, philosophy commonly spread in the world. But when the same people receive a major distress in their lives, that is when, they hanker for solutions. Life is going very good, suddenly somebody's child dies. I hope you are able to understand. Now I am in distress. Now I want to figure out why this happened to me. Everything is going good. Suddenly the spouse dies. Now I want to find out why I am suffering. So before that period of suffering comes in our lives, the wise person is somebody who will know the secrets of the world beforehand. So that in case there is a major distress written within our lives, we are prepared to go through it. And believe it or not, many of us are destined in our lives to experience some major distress. And therefore, it is very important, before that major source of distress arrives in our life, that we should understand the higher principle behind the working of the world The world works by the principle of converting all happiness into distress. And the very nature of the world is dukkhameva sarvam, that it is full of suffering. In the Yoga Sutras of Maharshi Patanjali, in the third chapter, 18th sutra, there is the commentary of Sri Vyasadeva. In that commentary, Sri Vyasadeva cites a pastime, a story of the past, where there is a discussion between two sages. These two sages are named Jaigi Shavya and Avatya. Jaigi Shavya is an accomplished Ashtanga yogi who remembers all the lives that he has had for the past 10 millenniums. Jaigi Shavya remembers all the past lives of the past 10 millenniums. And Avatya approaches Jaigi Shavya and he asks Jaigi Shavya Muni a question. He says, you have seen all your past lives for the last 10 millenniums. Sometimes you were an insect, sometimes you were an animal, sometimes you were a human, sometimes you were a devata. You experienced happiness and distress. Muni Jaigi Shavya, I want to ask you a question. Can you please tell me what was greater, happiness or distress? This question is asked to Jaigi Shavya in Sri Vyasadeva's commentary to Yoga Sutra 3.18. Jaigi Shavya says, I look back into all the lives that I've had for the past 10 millennium. Sometimes I was an insect, sometimes I was an animal, sometimes a reptile. After analyzing all those lives, I will give you an answer to your question. And the answer that Muni Jaigi Shavya gave is Dukkhameva sarvam pratyavayami. Everything was distress. There was no happiness that I could see in all those previous lives. Dukkhameva sarvam pratyavayami. Avatya Muni asks him another question. Right now, are you happy? After knowing all this, are you happy at least right now? So Jaigi Shavya Muni gives a reply. Compared to all the previous lives, I am happy right now. Compared to all the previous lives, I am happy right now. Why? Because I know my previous lives and I know that the world is suffering. But compared to the happiness of becoming liberated, I am still unhappy. I hope you are able to understand. Compared to my previous lives, currently I am happy. But compared to the joy of liberation, getting out of birth and death, if I compare my current situation to that, Muni Jaigi Shavya said, I am still unhappy. So I still have to attain that final liberation, after which I will no longer have to take another birth. But many people are not able to come to that point. You know why? Because right now they are happy with their current life. And they feel there is nothing to bother about. Nothing to bother about. ऐसा है. हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, नींद अच्छी चल रही है सोने दो. समझ में है? ऐसा. नींद अच्छी चल रही है सोने दो. जगाओ मत. ऐसा जगाओ मत. When will, because sometimes you know what happens? A person is sleeping and very sweet dream that person is having. And you wake up that person from the sweet dream. Will that person be happy or angry? Angry. काहे को जगा दिया? इतना अच्छा सपना चल रहा था, फालतू में जगा दिया हमको. ऐसा. This is the condition with most people in the world. Life is going very good. So what if death will come tomorrow? Should I spoil my current life just because of the fear of death? I don't want to live like this. ऐसा. अच्छा. Gradually, when the good dream starts turning into a nightmare, है कि नहीं? हाँ? जब वो होगा ना, when the dream starts turning into a nightmare, then they will want to wake up by themselves. ऐसा है. This is the material world. अभी सपना अच्छा है, अभी नहीं जगाना. gradually when they will take future lives, and when due to their past karma they will start experiencing suffering, tab jaake when they will themselves run to a temple, Prabhuji, I am suffering in the world. Can you please tell me how to come out of suffering? ऐसा. Right now अभी तो don't ring the alarm, press the snooze button. ऐसा है ना? Keep the dream alive, hit the snooze button. ऐसा है. So that is what is the condition of most people in this world. But if one is intelligent, and if one knows that the repeated cycle of birth and death is nothing but a source of major distress, then they will wake up and try to do something about it. And the best way to do that, to come out of this suffering, is to develop a connection with Bhagwan Shri Krishna through the practice of Bhakti Yoga. To understand who is the original source of all rasa, that is Shri Krishna, to have a relationship with Shri Krishna through the practice of Bhakti Yoga, so that one never has to take a birth again, and so that one stays forever with Shri Krishna, and in that particular place one no longer experiences any material misery at all. So this, short and sweet, is the understanding. And I have given this understanding quite a few number of times in many places. But there is one thing I have noticed, that there are some people who even after telling them, they will still be happy with their dream. And it does not distress me. Personally speaking, it does not distress me that there are some people who are happy living a dream. That life is okay, let's continue. That's it. Lecture was good, Prashad was good, let's go home and continue our lives. Personally, earlier I used to feel a little distressed even after giving such an important message. Why is it that many people did not ask important questions? But nowadays I understand that only after many births of suffering does a person come to the realization that there is something wrong with the world. And only when a person comes to that realization after many births of suffering does a person voluntarily seek out some solutions. Till that time, it is very difficult for a person to wake up and seek solutions. But since all of you are already here, I am assuming that you are looking for solutions. I am not assuming that you want to continue the dream. Alright? If the dream has turned into a nightmare for you, there is a chance of waking up. But that is through the practice of Bhakti Yoga. Alright? So I'll pause my speech here. Thank you very much. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guru reva menani. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible that I might have made a mistake in speaking something. But if I have made a mistake, vidvam saha, you are all learned people, purayantu tat. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there is anything nice in what I said, please remember tad guru reva. It belongs to my gurujanas menani. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much once again for kindly listening to what I had to say. We have some time for question and answers, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yes. So we'll now have question and answers. Anybody who wants to ask a question, and you can ask the most critical question. Even if your question is from an atheistic point of view, feel free to ask. I am here. Yes.
Prabhuji, when you started, when you started
your voice is loud enough, alright, yeah.
When you started saying that we get connected to that Natya Ras and we have the connection of getting misery and we feel sad. I want to know why we choose to go towards misery and why we choose to see misery and experience it. Why? Why misery?
Yeah.
Why we choose? Like you said, we always want happiness. We always approach towards so. But when we see Natya Ras or any Ras, why we go towards that misery thing?
Wonderful. So this is a very important question. Please tell me, I ask you a simple question. The disaster which is happening on the stage with the actor, huh? If that disaster takes place in your personal life, would you want to have that disaster in your personal life?
No.
No. But the disaster is not occurring in your personal life. The disaster is occurring in the life of that particular character. And that actor also is not going through the disaster. That actor is also playing a role. So, the actor is also disconnected from the actual source of distress. So, in the heart of the actor also Ras is flowing. So, when the actor is crying, oh, my father is dead. So, is the actor experiencing material distress or is the actor experiencing Rasa? Rasa. Because the actor is personally disconnected from the actual misery. And Rasa is what disconnected you from the actual misery. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes.
Now that the actor is experiencing the Rasa and you sitting in the audience have become sahriday, like-minded with the actor. Usually what happens on a stage, there are various actors and people in the audience start empathizing with one of the actors. So when you started empathizing with the actor, the rasa that is flowing in the heart of the actor, a copy of that rasa also starts flowing in your heart. In technical language of rasa, it is called sadharanikaran, generalized version of rasa which flows even within your heart. So this is the whole thing of rasa. Originally I said rasa comes from the spiritual world. It is not a product of the material world. Now let's take the case of spiritual world. When Bhagwan Ram heard that his father had died, now he is first person experiencing it. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes.
He is not looking at a drama or he is not playing a role. He is himself. Now when Bhagwan Ram hears that Dashrath Maharaj is dead, he is passed away, is Bhagwan Ram experiencing material misery or rasa?
Material misery.
Think carefully.
No, but
Think carefully.
Why?
Think carefully. It's very important. When Bhagwan Ram in Treta Yuga heard that Maharaj Dashrath had passed away, did Bhagwan Ram experience material misery or did he experience rasa? Dashrath Maharaj is originally a person of the material world or spiritual world?
Spiritual.
In the spiritual world, can anybody die?
No.
No. So actually, Bhagwan Ram and Dashrath, they have come to the material world and they are playing part in a drama. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes.
Which is we call Leela. What do we call? Leela. So in this particular Leela, which is nothing but another name for a dramatic enactment, in the spiritual world, can Maharaj Dashrath die?
No.
Can Bhagwan Ram experience any misery of that sort?
No.
So let me give an example. In a home, there may be father and son, and both of them may be playing part in a drama. And when they go in a drama, on the stage, the father has to die and the son has to cry. Now, is the son experiencing material misery or rasa? Rasa. Now, is Bhagwan Ram experiencing material misery or rasa?
Rasa.
Oh, wonderful. So, the origin of rasa is in which world? Spiritual world. Because in spiritual world there is no misery. And whatever comes from that world takes the form of rasa. You can enact it in this world and also experience rasa. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? So the answer to your query is the reason why people want to experience distress through the via medium of natya and rasa is because when distress is experienced through the via medium of natya and rasa, it separates you from the actual source of material misery, and therefore what appears to you is only rasa, which is happiness and not misery. That's all. I hope that answer satisfies your query. Okay? Yeah. Anybody else wants to ask a question? Okay, let him, then I'll come. Let him take a mic. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for this amazing talk. Prabhuji, I've got a question not related to Rasa, but related to something very practical in daily life. Most of the source of distress comes from the immediate relationships that people have. Either it is in work relationship or personal relationship.
Yeah.
And as you said that we have familiarity breeds to contempt. कि हम इतना ज़्यादा भारत में रह कि हम भारत के विज्ञान को ज्ञान को भूल के फॉरेन के विज्ञान ज्ञान में ढूंढ रहे हैं कि कैसे इनको ठीक किया जाए. So how do we go back to our own scriptures and find solutions for the relationship challenges that people are facing today? Because as we know, the source of knowledge is from here. But everybody is doing these psychologists who they charge so much. They're taking knowledge from the other textbooks of the foreign world, Western world, and trying to impose the same ideology here. Although we have the solutions here. So I want a little bit of guidance on that, and how can we actually solve the relationship challenges going on in lives and also dovetail everything towards Krishna consciousness, because the solution will definitely come to this point again.
Wonderful. So I'll see, first thing is, there are many things in the Western world which do work and which are good. But there are many experimental things going on. Indian mindset is to understand something very holistically from the point of view of the Jivatma and give a solution from the point of view of the Jivatma. Whereas Western solutions are mostly based on understanding that the body is everything, the mind is everything. Now, some solutions from the Western world may work temporarily. I'll give you an example of that. If somebody is distressed, they go to a psychologist or psychiatrist, and the psychologist or psychiatrist prescribes them some medicines. And when they consume those medicines, they may feel some happiness, immediate happiness. But that experience of happiness is not actually coming from the Jivatma. It is basically just a release of chemicals within the mind which gives you a temporary feeling of being happy. That's all. On the other hand, what Vedic life teaches is that you have to address the core problems which are troubling your Atma, which are troubling you as a Jivatma. And you may say relationships are troubling. And what is the reason that these relationships are troubling? Then you can investigate into that. There are many sciences which will help you. The first science which will help you is Ashtanga Yoga and Jyotish. These two will help you. Ashtanga Yoga will teach you basically how to disconnect yourselves from all sources of misery. So you may be in the middle of the greatest source of misery, but Ashtanga Yoga will teach you how to keep yourself disconnected from that. Jyotish will teach you what is the past life reason that you are currently experiencing misery in this particular life. In many ways, it will give you clarity on your present situation so that you become more receptive to your situation. Bhakti Yoga will teach you how to gain happiness which is not of this world. So despite all these things going on, not only do you become disconnected from the source of unhappiness, Bhakti Yoga also gives you a source of happiness which you are able to connect to and tap into, and which does not turn into distress. Jyotish will tell you that the relatives are troubling you because there is a past life connection. There are many people who got good relatives, many people who got good parents, many people who got good spouses. We did not get. Why? So there is a reason behind that. And that reason is seen according to Prarabdha Karma. There is a term for that, Prarabdha Karma. Prarabdha Karma shows up in Jyotish. And it shows that you have such and such Prarabdha Karma which is affecting your personality. I remember when my chart was made in my childhood, one of the first things the Jyotish wrote was, he has Pitta Prakriti. That is the first thing he wrote. Pitta Prakriti means itching of skin. And in my life, what was written, I experienced. Now, Pitta Prakriti also is suffering, but it is bodily suffering. But you can get rid of it by Ayurveda. I hope you are able to understand. There are solutions for that. So, Vedic life will give you those solutions. The reason why Indians don't accept it is because they are not packaged in a sophisticated terminology. They are packaged in very basic terms. Kapha, Vata, Pitta. These are terms which the rishis used for making us understand. Very simple solution for Pitta, like I said, skin diseases, is to take hot water mixed with turmeric, haldi, it purifies your blood. Alright, or to take haldi mixed with milk, it purifies your blood. So if somebody says doodh and haldi, Indian people say ठीक नहीं लग, इतना sophisticated नहीं लग रहा है. Alright, but when the same doodh and haldi goes to the Western world and they call it turmeric latte, that's what they say nowadays, turmeric latte, and they package it in a sophisticated bottle and add preservatives to it and sell you for 300 rupees. Oh wow, definitely I'm going to, So people drink turmeric latte because it has been packaged in sophisticated words. It is word jugglery, nothing else. But if the same Ayurveda comes and says you take haldi with dudh, hot milk, warm milk with haldi, and you will get rid of pitta. That's it. It's very simple. But we have a habit, we don't want to eat like this, we want to eat like this. This is our habit. That is the current habit we have today. Therefore, we are not able to accept those very solutions. One thing I want to say, there are many Ayurvedic, most of the Ayurvedic patents are being made in the Western world today. Patents on cow ghee, patents on turmeric, patents on all of these ashwagandha. You go to any medicine store in the West, you will find ashwagandha, turmeric, shilajit, all the Ayurvedic capsules and tablets. But nobody wants to give credit to the original rishis. Charak, Sushrut, Vagbhat, Patanjali, these are the original rishis who have given these solutions. So the day we understand that it is our hereditary knowledge, that day we will be very fine. Similarly Jyotish, similarly Ashtanga Yoga. So that we have to understand. But there is a problem with us Indians. I often say this, Hindi में बोलता हूँ, तन से गई गुलामी मन से नहीं गई. समझ में आया? it's बहुत simple बात है. तन से गई गुलामी मन से नहीं गई. This is our position today. That mentally, intellectually, we are still, many of us are still brown sepoys of the British Kingdom. So once we get rid of that, we have a lot to gain from our traditional sources of knowledge. So I hope that answers your query.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. It was amazing. Because in our childhood also I had heard about, in Bharatanatyam also it comes about the 9 rasas and everything. When I was reading Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I was thinking for the first time when I read it, I thought, like, is it material, it is spiritual? I was not understanding. But that clarity came through Prabhupada's mercy. But now I can actually figure out how it is, working. Thank you so much.
Rasa is originally spiritual. Even when you see rasa in a material drama, the principle of rasa is non-material. Let me just say this thing once and forever. The acharyas of Kavya Rasa, material rasa, have said Brahmananda Sahodara. Rasa is the elder brother of Brahmananda, the joy of impersonal Brahman. So please tell me, the joy of impersonal Brahman is material or spiritual?
Spiritual.
So even the rasa experienced in material dramas is technically listed as non-material by acharyas of rasa. What to speak of bhakti rasa? It is certainly supramundane. So that is.
So Prabhu, in the first canto, the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the purport, Prabhupada writes about Adirasa.
Adiras.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know that why the conjugal rasa is known as Adirasa, even though the other rasas are there, but still it is known as Adirasa. Also elsewhere in the Chaitanya Charitamrita one purport, Prabhupada writes about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commenting that Janmadhyasya Yatha is actually speaking about Adirasa, like that he gives a Bhavartha. So it will be nice if you can elaborate.
Yeah, so Adiras is what we call Madhurya Ras. Madhurya Ras is the joy which is derived out of Bhagwan and Bhagwan's Shaktis, enjoying feelings of love or romance with each other. That is what Bhagwan's Rasa is called as Adiras. The reason why it is called as Adiras is because it is the source of all the reflected rasas of romance in this material world. So when Adiras comes to the material world, it is called as Shringar Ras. Shringar is what we call romance, and Shringar is known as Rasaraj. Rasaraj is, in the material world, it is the king of all the rasas. And in the spiritual world, Madhurya or Adiras is the king of all the rasas. Shringar Ras is also called as Angi Ras. Angi. Right? Anga means limb. Anga means limb, body part. Angi is the main body. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? So all other rasas are Angas. Shringar is Angi. Angi Rasa. It is the main support of all the other rasas. So therefore, the world is sustained by Shringar Rasa. In the Upanishads, it is said that Saha akamayat ekoham bahusyam prajayeyam iti. When there was no creation in the world, Bhagwan Karanodakashay Vishnu, he says, Ekoham bahusyam, I am alone, let me become many. Prajayeyam iti, let me manifest many. Then he originally associated with his energy, Shakti. And through his association with his Shakti, the material worlds were produced. So this feeling of being in contact of the contact of Shakti and Shaktiman is originally between Bhagwan and his Shakti. And that feeling also, in a reflected way, comes to the Jivas when it becomes known as Shringaras. And that is what sustains the world. Without Shringaras, the world cannot be sustained. And therefore, this is the most important ras, and most of the dramas and movies are made centered around this particular ras. Right? Okay. Should we stop now? All right. Thank you so much.
So if anybody have any questions, so Prabhuji, as per Prabhuji's availability, we can come in person and ask questions. So we would like to thank you, Prabhuji, for giving such a wonderful and experiencing the rasas while in the material world only. So we can chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra one time. So thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And devotees can collect their coupon at the gate, and downstairs is the Prashadam for having. Thank you.
For the Parshas, whether you would like to volunteer or bring to your own.
Okay, sure.
For you and family.
Sure.